So first we're going to check if the player is alive or dead, and if they are dead, we'll play the dying animation. We don't currently have a variable to check if we're alive or dead, so let's make a new variable. We'll go to variables, and we'll click create variable. And we want to name this alive. We're checking if the player is alive, and we want to keep it as true false. Then we'll click OK. Now let's drag that set true false alive out, and where do we want to put it? Let's put it up where we're setting up our other variables, which is when the level starts. When the level starts, we are alive, so we want to set that to true. So we'll go to operators and grab that true block and connect that in. Alright, now back in our animations function, we want to be checking if I'm alive or dead. So we'll go to control flow and we'll grab this if do block, connect it into our function, make a bit more space here. So we want to know if you're alive or dead. We want two decisions being made here, so we need an if do else. So we'll click on the cog icon there, drag else into this if, and then we can close that by clicking on that icon again, and we can see we now have two sections for this if block. We want to check if alive equals true. So we're going to grab an equals block from operators, connect that into the if, and then from variables, we'll grab true false alive, and then we want another true block from operators. If alive is true. Now in here we're going to be playing a lot of different animations depending on how the player is moving, if the player is alive. But if they're not alive, in here we're going to be playing the dying animation. So we'll go to animations, we'll grab play animation idle, drag that into the else block, and name this dying. Dying. Now if you're not sure what the names of your animations are, because you do need to type them in correctly in there, you can close your script, save what you've got so far, right click on your character or your object, and click edit animation or view animation. This will bring up the animation editor and you can see what the different animations are and what they're named and what they look like. So this character has quite a few animations. There we can see that's the dying animation. So make sure you type them in the same as in here. Now we've just made up this true false alive variable. We need to go find all the parts where the player actually does die, and we need to set alive to false in those areas. And currently when I die, I'm just going to a different level. So to make sure that the dying animation has enough time to play, we're going to add a little time delay in. Now we need to find all the parts in our script where the player is essentially dying, and we're sending them to different levels right now. So what we want to do is replace that with a new function. So we're going to make a new function called die. And then we want to find all the places where we're supposed to die, and we're going to replace it with this function. So that would be when we touch an obstacle. So let's drag that go-to4 into the trash, and I'm going to use my die function in there. So when we die, we want to set alive to false. So we'll go to variables and grab set true false alive. And we want to set that to false. So operators, grab true, connect that in, change that to false. And we'll also disable the player's physics. We go to physics, and near the bottom we've got set physics enabled true. We'll change that to false. That way the player can't run around when they're dying. Okay, so let's test this out now. So when we touch an obstacle, we should die, which will set alive to false and disable our physics. And then this correct animations, which is constantly running, will check if alive is true, and if it is, it won't do anything. But if alive isn't true, then it will play the dying animation. So let's see what that looks like. Okay, that's pretty good. Now, obviously we need to get the rest of our animations working again. And we can also see our dying loops. So we'll fix that next.